It's Tech Lid, and we're bullish. Y'all already know what we do on the channel. We talk sports and we play roulette. So this right here is a little strategy that we're going to try out. It is called walk the dog. We're going to walk the dog around the roulette table. So let me just explain the strategy first and then demonstrate. So we're going to bet on the dozens, and then we're going to bet on the columns. So let's break it down even further. We're going to place 3 bets on the dozens, and then we're going to follow that up with 3 bets on the columns. If we lose our bet, we are going to ante it up, but if we win the bet, we're going to increase our bets. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. I did not spin any numbers right there. That is just the roulette wheel going off by itself, waiting for us to place a bet. So let's start off with the first and third dozen, right? So I'm going to just bet $5 units, right? As you could see on the bottom where it says Tech Lid Bull, 46,600 is the total, right? So we're going to play with $5 units because it is a realistic amount, right? So let's see how this goes. The first thing we're going to do with this strategy, we're going to play it on the second and third dozens. Then we're going to follow it up with the first and third dozen, then the first and second dozen. So let's go. Let's see what we get here. So there we go, right there, right off the bat, that is a win. So we're going to rebet it, but we're going to move along, right? So first and third dozen. There we go, that is another win. So we're going to stay put right there. And then finally, to finish this off, we're going to bet the first and second dozen. Let's get this spin. And there we go. So we actually swept that. We won all 3 bets. So now we are going to repeat the exact same thing with the columns. Now, in terms of having an exit plan, some people play until they profit $50 with this strategy, 100, whatever. Just know that the more you bet, the more likely you are to lose. Look, right there, I just hit 3 units. If you wanted to call it a session right after that, you could definitely do so. But for the purposes of the demonstration, we're going to show you the complete strategy to its finality, right? So we started with the second and third dozens. So let's spin that. There we go. That is a win. Sorry about that. I just said dozen, but what I meant to say was column. So we did second and third columns. Now we do the first column and the third column. So let's spin that. And that is a 16. So we actually won that as well. Super lucky, I guess you could maybe call it. And we're going to conclude it with the first and second column. Okay, so right there, we actually lost, right? So right there, we took a loss, right? So I started the session with 46,615. So let's say that I wasn't good with that and I want to keep going with the strategy, but we just made $15 right here. So if I wanted to walk away ahead, I could certainly do that, but we're going to go through this strategy just one last time, right? So we're finished with the columns. So now we go back to the dozens, second and third dozen. Remember, we lost the bet. So this is what I'm showing you. When you lose the bet, you have to ante up the bet. So we have to triple now in order to gain our profit back. So let's see what the ball lands on. And there we go. That is a win for us. So now what we're going to do here, since we're done with that, is go to the first and third dozen. We drop our unit size back to the $5 and we spin. And that is a loss right there. So now we go and we have to triple our bet to get our profits back. So hopefully it lands on the first or second dozen. And it did not. So right here, we lose $30 and now we are actually down $10 on the session. So this is the thing about columns and dozens. When you lose, it could get dangerous when you're martingaling, right? Because clearly you have to triple your money in order to get back something, right? So we lost $30 right there. So now we have to triple it to $45. And we're going on the second and third column. Of course, this is being done because the bankroll clearly is sufficient there. But this could also be done with a big bankroll. I suggest something in real life like $1,000 bankroll. That would be sufficient. For a few spins only, of course. So here we go. Second, third column. What do we get? We get an 8. That is a winner right there. So now we drop back down to $5 units on the first column and the third column. And that's a 23. So that is a loss right there. So now we have to up the bet $15 per column on the first and second column, right? So now we're actually down $5 for the session. 24 is the number. And that is a loss right there, right? So through the progression 2 times, we actually see that we are down. I finished the progression 2 times through and we're down $5. You could go another whole round, but you could risk losing money, right? So it is your call what you want to do. We don't like to leave a loser, but we realize that you do lose in roulette. So I'm keeping it real here. This is not to dissuade you guys from using any strategies. I used it 2 times through and the strategy proved to be a loser, right? Now, if I go at it, right, and continue, perhaps it will be a winner. So the next step would be betting $45, right? That spin went off by itself. We didn't bet anything. So we want to bet 45 and 45, right? Because our last units, we lost 15 apiece. And the next step in the progression would be going back to the dozens. So we're going to bet $45 on the second and third dozen. If we win this bet, though, we will call it a session so we could go out on top. So there we go. We did get the bet. And now we are back on top, $40, right? So we're up $40 for the session. So I am going to call it a session right here. Like I said, you could have stopped after that second round and be a loser of $5, but it is much better to stop if you're not feeling the vibe on the table and things like that. You would rather lose $5 instead of your entire bankroll, right? I'm not going to lose this bankroll because it is enormous right here. And I am betting much smaller than my actual bankroll on here. So that does help having a loaded bankroll. But guys, let me know what you thought about the walk the dog strategy. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll talk more roulette strategies. Peace and love.